Hey guys, what's up? I'm top music attorney, Miss Krystle, and welcome to the TMA Music Business Podcast, where we're teaching you how to build your music business to six figures, crush the game, stay legally protected, and we're doing it all live. Yeah, so a city is renaming itself to Taylor Swift. It's a thing, and it happens to be where I live. I'm not sure how strongly I should go in on this. Either way, I like Taylor Swift. I'm into it. I think she's fantastic. This is a thing. So hi guys in the chat. Where are you checking in from? How you doing? What time is it? So yeah, Taylor Swift, kind of taking over the planet. The last time we spoke about her, it had to do with tickets and the pre-sale fiasco via Ticketmaster for her big tour. So we're going to kind of talk about that and the update. But, it was interesting when we were going through it and just, Ticketmaster's whole system, right? You can buy tickets and resell them at basically whatever price you want. So we would see these videos going viral of people being like, I want my Taylor Swift ticket and it's like $50,000, literally, And then on the flip side, what is it? I'm gonna say Creed. Never mind. I'm not gonna go down that road. Anyway, hi guys in the chat. Let's see what's going on. Hey. Where are you guys checking in from? What time is it? Yeah, we're not even gonna cross that bridge. Let's just not even do that. Good morning. So I went and got a vitamin IV. I'm gonna hit you a story really fast, and then we're gonna run a music video. We're switching it up today. We're getting wild. So I went and got a vitamin IV yesterday, which I do from time to time when I'm feeling a little run down. Mama was feeling a little run down and had some moments, and so it was time to get a vitamin IV. So I go in, and I guess I was so dehydrated. That's not a good thing when they're trying to find a vein. Hey, what's up, Travis? And so I got poked a lot of times in the same arm. So my arm's kind of having some tracks. What's up, Ireland? Yeah. But they got it in, thank goodness. We had the experts come and make it work. And I woke up feeling right as rain. And then, kind of went sideways again 8 hours later. But the point just being, we're doing better. Yeah, things are going great. So we're talking about the Taylor Swift. We're talking about the renaming of cities after her in the United States. That's a thing. But then also, she surprised us all today with a big announcement, which we'll be talking about. We'll bring that Orko in, and we're also going to do something different today. So before I get too far into this, let's run, Mr. Producer, if you're ready for me, let's run the new music video. This is my new song, Something in the Way. This is the new music video, and we're going to watch it together. So say something during the experience. I'll be in the chat.
I'm telling myself tonight, I'ma feel this all tonight. They just have full like old desires. But whenever you're gone, I just need your company. Need you on your knees. I wanna feel your touch forever. What I want is what you're gonna do. Run my fingers down your back and slide. You'll be mine just one more time. Loud, the sound, there's something in the way you lay me down. Something in the way you make better. There's something in the way you make your sound. Something in the way And when you're kissing me, your lips taste of my passion. You can put your hands on me. whenever you want. I just wanna be anywhere you are. I wanna feel your touch forever. What I want is what you're gonna do. When my fingers down your back and you'll be mine just one more time. Loud, the sound. There's something in the way you lay me down. Something in the way you make better. There's something in the way you make your sound. Something in the way, the way, the way I came to. I nearly lost my mind to make you lead on the line, lead on the line, lead on the line. There's something in the There's something in the way. There's something in the way you lay me down. Something in the way you make better. There's something in the way you make your sound. Something in the way, the way, the way
There you go, hitting you with one early in the show because why not? It's my show and I'm switching it up tonight. Thank you so much, John. I love you guys. I love your faces. Yeah, so other than Taylor Swift, we talk a lot on the show about what's going on with AI things, okay? And something else we're going to kind of get into is that one of these neighboring rights organizations is rolling out a way to protect artists from all these AI advancements. And it's kind of interesting. And I'm like, curious. And I know you guys have very strong opinions about this when we're talking about, like, the apps that go viral where you can make cute picture portraits of yourself. And they're like, you're stealing from painters and, different artists. Anyway, we're going to get into it. Winston had a question. Do you make your own? This is not how he asked it, but I'm going to put it in a voice. Do you make your own wardrobe selections or collaborate with a stylist? I actually do all my wardrobe. So I've been kind of directing the majority of my music videos forever, just because I do. And so as far as kind of like what I do with the style and all that, I'll just come up with the vision, put it together. Sometimes I'll delegate and we'll get some help from this executive producer, or we might hire a stylist. So it just depends. On that one, I just put the outfits together. It was a simpler concept, but I thought it came together nice. Aw, so sweet. I live, laugh, love this song. Thank you so much. All right. Sorry, back to the music business because that's what we are all here for. We are learning things and, more importantly, learning how to grow our music businesses to 6 figures. That's kind of my mission statement. It's to help you guys understand the music business and how to make a lot of money and to be able to thrive. I mean, I'm talking to one of my artists today, and I just love it because, he's like telling me, hey, just like this thing happened and it's this great, opportunity for the song and it's going to get this huge push and it might be like one of the biggest hits of this year, who knows? And I just think that's amazing. I love hearing stories like that. I want to see you guys winning and we all can be. So anyway, I digress. All right. So as always, where are you guys checking in from? What time is it? So what I was kind of teasing at that we're going to change up a little bit is I'm going to have that Orko come in, not just to talk about some of the newsy things, but I kind of want to have some discussions with him specific to a couple of different topics. One of the sexier topics that we cover on the show is how to make money right? How can you just get rich as a music producer, as a music artist, right? That's one of the main objectives. Obviously, a lot of us are like in it for, you know, the passion, the creative art, growing our legacies, and some of us are in it for the money too, and that's cool. I'm into it. So we'll kind of talk about that, and I got some great stuff for you. And then also, I kind of want to talk about how to grow your fan base as far as like a marketing thing, right? One of the biggest topics as far as being someone who is successful in the music business, it's always an ongoing thing when it comes to marketing, learning it, getting better at it. And so let's share some best hacks. I guess that's what we're going to talk about. So I think what I want to do out the gate, because we're going to bring them in and then we'll just kind of hard hit, since I'll have them with me, we'll kind of hard hit those topics, go into the news stuff. So let me do one little thing by myself before I bring them in. And I want to go through this. This is more of like real kind of, if you are in the music business and you do anything with music, you need to know this. Okay, I'm gonna try to keep to my little 5-minute rule that I try to do with these. Okay, so I'm gonna power through this. So let me pull this up because we're gonna do it together and we're gonna make this glorious, just glorious. All right, here we go. All right. All right, so in this segment of exposing the music business, I'm going to be answering your question on how to switch music distributors while still maintaining your plays, your playlists that your music is on, as well as, you know, streams and all the other things. This is really important because whether you're just moving your catalog or at some point you plan on selling your music catalog or anything in between, this is something you gotta know how to do. Okay, I've personally built multiple 6-figure music businesses as an independent artist as well as a music business owner, and I've learned some things along the way. That's why I'm sharing this. Okay, it's a really important one. One is, of course, when it comes to switching music distributors, it's going to happen at one point or another. So, for example, I've gone through Symphonic, CD Baby, DistroKid, and sometimes I've had just different portions of my catalog on different platforms, right? Because you're exclusive to that platform as it relates to the content you give them. So, at some point you might ask, well, why would I switch to a different distributor? Well, you might if you get a better deal, right? If you're paying less, if you get a better percentage. So regardless of why you are watching this or clicked on this video, I'm going to talk about what you're going to do and how to think through this so you can optimize not just like the little administrative step of switching, but how this is going to really work for you in the long run. All right, so what you're going to do is first and foremost, make sure you have a document of some kind. Now, for those of you who aren't like, office nerds and have, Word and Excel and all these things on your, computer or laptop, having some kind of document is fine, and you can use Google Docs. Literally open Google, and on the top right, there's a pull down, and you can go to your Google Docs free, okay? So you don't have to have Microsoft Office, you can go there. But in any case, let me show you. This is a simplified version of what I personally do, but it totally works. All right. So this is a music catalog tracker. This is something that you want to just have and build upon as you go. Now, if you are looking at this and you're like, Krystle, I've released tons of albums and singles and I haven't done anything like this. Well, you might need to do a little work to add all the, all these things, but this is how you're going to do it. Okay. So in my little examples, these are the most important categories you got to fill in. So, of course, we need to know the title of whatever it is, a single, an album, an EP. Okay, so in this case, I have a single called Bad Girl. And then you'll note the artist name. Now, the reason why we're going to note the artist name, obviously, you know your artist name, but sometimes there are other primary artists, right? So just meaning, if it's a Miss Krystle release and I'm noting on the release that Orko is on it, so meaning like on Spotify, you would see his name, even though he's not in the title. He's still a primary artist. So in any case, artist name, and then UPC. The UPC, as well as really any of this information, but these two categories right here, UPC, ISRC. The UPC is like a glorified catalog number, and not all distributors give you a UPC, so it's not the end of the world. Let's not freak out. If we don't have it, it's okay. If you do have it though, make a note, you're gonna put it in this column. Okay, and then you will put the release date. What's the date that it came out? The reason we're gonna need all this information is so when you distribute the song again, okay, so let's pretend you're going from CD Baby over to DistroKid. Okay, so you're gonna start your DistroKid account, right? And then when you are uploading, it's just gonna ask you some pretty simple questions. What's the name of the song? Who's the artist? And then it will always ask, do you have a UPC? Do you have an ISRC? We'll get to that in a second. And then also be like, was this previously released? We add the previously released information because that means you can have your same catalog redistributed by the new distributor, and there's no interruption with the listening experience of your undying fans. Is that how you say that? Your fans. But in any case, so you just note when was the original release, how long is the song, but then this is the most highlight, heart, exclamation point. Like if there's nothing else you should just keep track of, it really is the ISRC. So ISRC is the glorified international barcode, right? So it's going to be the number that attaches to the song forever and ever and ever and ever. This is how we track it. This is how we know what happens. This is how we get paid on all the platforms. Having that number is really important. Now, the good news is that if you don't have it, you're like, Krystle, I got locked out of my distributor account. I can't find my password. They blocked me. Even if you can't get into the account, which is where everything is super easy, you just copy and paste, you actually can just do Google search, say ISRC lookup. There's like a lot of websites where you can just do a search and find it. So great news, no barrier to entry. So in any case, wherever you find the ISRC, you're going to copy and paste it right here because this little guy is by itself what's going to ensure that your music does not lose the plays, the playlists that it's on, any of the things. Because again, it's the metadata identifier for the song that carries all the information about that song. So the great news is, again, in the example, you went from CD Baby to DistroKid. When you upload to DistroKid, it's like, hey, do you have an ISRC? You're like, hey, yeah, I do. And you copy and paste that original ISRC number into your account. And so when it gets sent to the music platforms, Spotify, iTunes, all the places, it will show all of your likes and loves and plays and all of that. Okay, so the ISRC is the thing that does that. Really important. And last but not least, at least from my template, I also do a little preview suggestion. So I'm sure you guys have seen this, but just a reminder, when you upload your music, your distributor is always going to ask, hey, what minute or so do you want sent to social media platforms like TikTok? What's the best minute for people to preview the song? It's typically like the pre-chorus going into the chorus, but in any case, you can make a note there. So having all this information, okay, in one place is an administrative step that you are going to love yourself for. Now, a super pro way to step your game up on this is that, make sure you back up your stuff on Dropbox, have it also on a drive, have it multiple places. So if you lose it in one place, you got it somewhere else. But in any case, hyperlink it in the actual document so that you don't have to go searching for it when it comes time to ever migrate your catalog. So for me, I have been moving and migrating my catalog because I got a great deal with a brand new distributor. And so I'm like, all right, cool, I'm done. So I'm moving my catalog from all the different people or companies that I've been working with. And so that's why this is hot on my mind. Now, last thing, when it comes to why this is important, it's not just going to save you time. It's not going to make your life so much easier when it comes time to move your catalog. But if and when you decide to ever sell your catalog, if and when you ever decide to do a deal with, a label, a publisher, like this is always the same information everyone wants. Hey, can I get your UPC? Hey, I need your metadata. When they say metadata, this is what it is. So you're going to look super professional, and this is definitely one of my best tips. So make sure you build this super easy. Like I said, I did a Word document. So use whatever format you want. It could be Excel. And like I said, if you need a free way to do it, if you don't have Microsoft Office, just use Google Docs. If you guys find this video helpful, please be sure to give me a big thumbs up. All right, going back into the chat. I don't even know. I forgot to time. Was anyone timing me? I need to call it out. I need you guys like sitting there. You're like, I'm going to make sure she stays. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, I got some real support last show. I was like, I need the fire emojis. I need the love, and you guys show me the love. And I got to 5 minutes and 15 seconds. So, hey. All right, so moving on. That's my spiel on music catalog trackers and why they are so important and fabulous. And I think I'm going to bring that Orko in. But why don't we run the little intro, because I didn't do that and we're out of order today, and why not? So I'm going to run the intro so I can go back into the chat, see what you guys have been saying, and then we'll get caught up. I'll bring that Orko in and we'll get into all the things. Talk to you in a sec. Hi guys, I'm top music attorney Miss Krystle. I'm an entertainment attorney, public speaker, and creator of the Top Music Attorney School for artists and record labels. I'm the owner of Dukes Up Records, and most importantly, I'm an independent artist. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on those bell notifications so you don't miss my weekly videos giving you my best tips on the music business, industry news updates, and teaching you how to stay legally protected.
Let's go.
All right, let's see. Oh, I'm too far back. I'm like, what video? The video we all shared in. I gotcha. All right, Winston. Winston says, speaking of six figures, sometime in the future, legal advice in lieu of, oh my goodness, business deals? I don't know, Winston. We'll have to see. For those of you who are just checking in, where are you checking in from? Let's see. Awesome. Glad you found it helpful. All right, here we go. Jen says keeping organized is everything, and back it up in at least 3 places. Yes. All right, I've shared my story. I literally threw away one of my hard drives, and it was, one of those rare times. It was like only a hard drive, and it was backed up to Dropbox. Thank goodness it was on Dropbox. I'm telling you, stuff happens. Even Dropbox gets hacked. So just saying. What's the distributor's role? Great question. I should cover that in a separate video. So a distributor, is basically a glorified bank, right? You can't get your music on DSPs, which are digital service providers, Spotify, Apple Music, without going through a distributor. That's just how it is. And what that means then is they do a step for you. You pay them a fee, which can be an upfront fee, it can be a percentage. But all they're doing is just sending your music to the different platforms. Now, what some distributors do to try to set themselves apart is to be like, well, in addition to the normal stuff, we're going to try to get you pitched. We're going to pitch you to playlists. We're going to help you register your music on BMI and ASCAP if you're in the United States. Some of them have additional services, but really, they're banks for music platforms. So in any case, I'm all about read your contract when you're signing up, right? They'll be like, hey, those are the terms and conditions. Read those and make sure you know what percentage they're taking of your music or what the fees are ahead of time. Because at a minimum, sign the deal, sign up, that's cool. But when the term of your agreement expires in 1 to 2 years, you can go back to that platform, especially if you were doing a percentage deal on a symphonic type of platform, and negotiate your rate better, right? So negotiate them down. Be like, hey, you were taking 20%. I think you should only get 10 now. And most of the time they'll be like, okay. Or they'll, meet you somewhere in the middle. Oh, I did have someone timing. Hey, all right. Not too bad. All right. I'm going to bring that Orko in and we'll just get into some things.
Hey, shout out to the community. Thank you guys so much for being here every single week. If you have not yet, make sure that you are joining the community over here on YouTube, the Top Music Attorney channel. We broadcast obviously out to Facebook. You might be watching on LinkedIn, but we are here on YouTube. That's where everything originates, and we want you there.
All right, so there was a quick question. Let's see. Hey, here's a question. Is there a new song or album coming out soon? And if so, is there already a name for it? Oh, it's so funny. Reading our minds. Yes. In fact, we are in progress for two things,
What are we
which
doing?
yeah, we actually we haven't announced this yet. Oh, I feel like I'm just saying stuff on the fly.
Oh, what are you
Uh,
saying?
we we're working on our next cover song EP.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we like to do these little bursts of cover songs. So we're getting that guy going. But then we're also always working on original music. So yes, we are in the midst of the new album, and we do have the name already picked out.
Yeah, we have the name for the album. We have obviously Something in the Way is going to be a part of that. So if you like that song, the album is
And
going to be very
Secret.
cohesive. What's up?
Secret.
Oh yeah, and Secret. The album is going to be very cohesive in sound. And then we have other mixes coming from the other songs. So it's not like we're starting it. We're in the middle of that, and simultaneously, yeah, we're doing this cover EP, which is something really cool. We've obviously done other cover EPs. If you follow us, we've done two other ones before, but this one is something totally different. It's special. I'm excited to talk about that when we get closer to it.
Heck yes. Okay, so I kind of want to do the artist topics
Sure,
first.
hit it.
So let me think. I like to we cut these up later, guys, so that they can have their own little moments. So I like to intro them. So I'm thinking, all right, so in today's TMA Music Business School discussion, we're talking about how to make money and get rich as a music artist. And without saying exactly what it is right away, what I will preface by saying is when it comes to the main pillars of how we are literally seeing some of the most successful independent artists crush the music business. They don't need record labels. They become their own record labels. They end up doing deals with the biggest brands in the world because they build their audience. But while they're building their audience, they're needing to pay bills. Okay, so as they're trying to pay bills, one of the most effective ways that they're doing this is through selling merchandise, but it's not normal merchandise. Okay, so this is where we're going to get a little creative with the discussion. So, in this segment, we're going to talk about where to sell, what to sell, pricing, and then we'll talk about maybe some artists who are doing this really well. Okay? So let's start with just like an easy thing. Let's talk about online store. Obviously, that Orko, you have some experience with this. Being a partner in many of my businesses, and we've built things together. We have a record label. So let's talk about the online store experience. Where do we start? Where do we go?
I mean, obviously there's major players out there. We use Shopify. That one seems to be really easily integrated into other platforms and stuff. And usually, like for instance, we are broadcasting. We use a program called Restream to do these broadcasts that we do, and they just integrated Shopify into the way that their platform works. So it's just like, just different website applications and just different things can use it, but it's a great place to hub all of your sales and keep track of them.
Yeah, and what I'll say is you need to think through what you're going to be selling, and like I said, there's creative ways to do this, but if you want to start with just like the stereotypical stuff, whether it's for you, your band, or you represent artists, or I had this one artist I spoke with which I loved, and he's like, I haven't even released music yet. That's not my focus. I'm starting with my merch line, which I loved because he's just like, I just want to build this thing and make it huge and great, and just have clothing that people love. So anyway, if you start with clothing and hats, you can start with platforms like Threadless and Printful. Okay, these are third-party platforms that do fulfillment for you. So you set up a store for free. They have you select all the things, and all you do is upload your pictures, right? And they'll add the pictures onto the mugs, onto the hats, onto the beach towels. Now,
And you can even, if you don't even have that stuff, if you're just doing text kind of thing, so you're starting with slogans, so you can design stuff. They offer you fonts, a bunch of fonts to choose from. So you can do everything actually within these Threadless or Printful. There's a mess of how many companies that do this for you, but
yeah.
it's a great way to go.
Great way to start because then it's free, right? Because as soon as you go, now I'm selling merch myself. If it's physical merch, you have to pay for that up front, right? You have to have the smalls and the
Right.
mediums and the larges of the shirts. And so that takes
And
capital.
And that could be also a real nightmare. Let me tell you a little story about trying to go through traditional merch companies. Unless they are local and you are literally going down there, colors like the color red are never going to really come out right. And a lot of these t-shirt printing companies won't just do one because they have to create the screens for all of the colors and things like that. It's an expensive process. And the quality of these print on demand kind of t-shirts that they got has gotten way better. It's not like it was
Yeah.
like 15 years ago. The quality is good. You can get your artwork done faster. You can order like one shirt to test your print to make sure it looks good, and you can get your colors. Follow the color guides on all this stuff, because I'm telling you, as somebody that works with Miss Krystle doing stuff, and her, a lot of her branding is the red hair and stuff. To get that color right on merch, if she's going to be on it, is super important. So just things to consider.
Yeah, so as far as, you're going through and you're like, all right, so once you know that you can maybe move 50 shirts, excuse me.
Mhm.
If you go, I'm going to do a limited run of 50 to 100 shirts. Well, obviously, you want to make sure you have the fan base who are going to go and purchase those, because if you do the math, you can
Right.
move and get 2 grand on 50 shirts. Okay. So it's not hard to have a full-time income just from merchandising. And we're talking about traditional, merch with
Right.
shirts and hats. So we said where to sell. Okay. If you're doing this online, you can do it on free platforms, but you can also do it on paid platforms. I think Shopify is like 30 bucks a month, and then you can, pay for shipping and stuff. So that's where to sell. Now, number two, what to sell. Okay. So we said traditional stuff. The not so traditional stuff, you can sell digital products, because all of a sudden now you don't have overhead. This is where we see artists getting really smart and making money, because they will, for example, if you're a producer, what can you do?
No, okay, so you can do beat packs, you can
There you go.
offer like little like courses and stuff and teaching people, but you have to build up a branding for that. But it's about creating, even you as a producer, you create merchandise for producers. It's about tapping into the stuff that you like. And another, just one more quick pro tip with going with these on-demand printers, print on demand, is that is a great way. So say you are an established band and you want to test out merch. It's a great way to test out merch. So maybe you do want to go through a printing company and get your cost down so you can end up making more money per shirt. So you want to go to a traditional, t-shirt printer. You could test out your designs and then go to the more traditional printer and take those shirts on the road where you're making more money if you're on tour.
Yeah, but back to the digital products, having sample packs, having the
Hmm.
investment of
Sample
time.
packs.
Again, you have a one-time investment of time, okay, to put it together, but it's something that could be put on not just like your own website, on your own Shopify store, but you can outsource it on third-party platforms. And so this is now essentially, we're talking about like two revenue streams from just the merchandising aspects of what you're doing as an artist. You have the physical merch, which obviously you can sell online, but you can sell it in person, right? You can sell it at your shows. And often
Right.
people are, they'll purchase at those kinds of events. But you have these digital products that don't actually cost you anything other than the time to put them together initially. So really think through, what can you sell? What can you even teach? And I'm always like, artists who are so smart and so creative. And I'm like, how did you figure that out? You should teach that and sell it and be like, hey, here's a $10 PDF of how I figured out this thing. Sell 100 of those.
No, for sure. And it's not just sample pack. I mean, you can, and that's for if you're designing sounds, but it's also, MIDI packs. You can do you could also be working just your music if you're not necessarily putting stuff out, because I always recommend this to producers. So as a producer, we create beats all the time, and not everything is for one thing. Sometimes we're just trying to create new kinds of vibes. Let's say maybe you're trying to do like cinematic vibes, but like you're really like a trap producer or something. um, Always categorize your beats and stuff, because what you do is you try to get those synced into TV and film with, and you're just kind of, all this stuff is just stuff that you still haven't even left your desk yet. You can create all these things at your desk. You can create your store at your desk, at your laptop. You can create all these things and release these digital products, or create musical beds for shows and try to pitch in a different idea. It's just not opening your mind to what you do.
Oh, I love this. So actually, I've seen an R sell a printable PDF coloring book.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
I
and I
love
think you
that.
had even mentioned, Etsy, right? So selling your
Yep.
literal art, your paint. I mean, there was a time I was really into painting, and so I would sell my paintings at my shows. I mean, and look, let's even use some other indie artists, right? So we have Queen Herbie. She's one. I love it. She even started her own, makeup line, and she pushes particular lipsticks. So I know for even where she's at, and you could be like, oh, she's not that big. Where she's at, she'll move easily like 1,000 vinyls, right? Like a limited run. So it's the same kind of thing, picking the thing that your audience will want and starting small. Start with that
Right.
20 units, 50 units. It can be a physical product, but just understand there's upfront costs. It can be a digital product, but again, there's upfront time costs to make it. And then once you know that you have something, start to grow it. So you even you follow some different artists, and you'll tell me, you'll be like, oh my gosh, what was it, Fiona Apple? She's making her own shirts and selling them on Etsy.
Right. So, I mean, you have that. You have artists like Estero who sell a lot of fragrances based on like, so she had a hit record, Breath from Another, and so she has like Breath from Another fragrances and stuff like that. I see a lot of artists doing those kind of things. I'm seeing a lot of makeup lines. Yeah, I mean, Khalees has, she has a whole farming thing, so she sells farming, goods. Sometimes she'll sell like muffins
Yeah,
and cookies
yeah.
and stuff like that. So it's just basically tapping into your audience and just what you already are good at and figuring out how to apply that to your brand and then how to push it forward. That coloring book thing is genius. Or like a comic book, or like if you can, like, you're doing art and stuff like that. When you used to do your paintings, like you could sell your paintings for, you can get a good return on those paintings. But again, it kind of became hard because you're like, well, now I'm giving out these paintings that I love, and it's really hard to part with these paintings no matter how much money that it was bringing in. So you kind of stopped doing that. But you could make your paintings and you could sell prints of them. You know what I mean? Or you could put them on t-shirts. You could do limited runs. Just
Yeah,
whatever you're
even,
good at.
like Arias. Arias is a duo, and they do EDM music, but one of the members, Tessa, she sells wigs. And so this is like a side hustle that she does, and she's constantly featuring the different wigs that she sells in her shows, behind the scenes. So she incorporates it into what she does as a performer, as an artist. So it's picking that thing, right? Figuring out what's going to work for your audience, and hopefully you love it. If you love it, you'll want to sell it. Obviously, you'll be the brand ambassador for real. So that's where to sell, potentially what to sell. Now let's talk about pricing. Okay, does it have to be a super low priced good? No, it can be, but then if you're doing low price, you want to try to do high volume. If you think you can move a $10 PDF because maybe it's a great hack that you figured out on setting up a Facebook ad, and you're like, oh my gosh, everyone that I know would want to, read this. That's fine. But you're talking about someone who paints. Sell that painting for $150. Well, then you only need to sell one or two, right? Every few days, once a week, whatever it is that you're trying to do. If you are creating a nice carve out of your income as a musician, as an artist, that's how I would say to set your pricing. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I mean, and then I think you should set your pricing. You should have different kinds of things. So while you were talking, I was thinking about, again, Estero, and she does also makes, aside from making like just different fragrances or lotions or whatever she does, she also makes handmade t-shirts. So she will literally sit there and she will do it herself, t-shirts and stuff like that. And then she will sell those for like, $100, $150. So like, don't be afraid to go premium on items either, if they are something really special as well. So it's just kind of where you feel good. So if you're going for something like you're just selling, your t-shirts and you're getting them through like, one of these, print on demand, I mean, keep it reasonable, keep it kind of in line. If they're going to be, you're trying to get the mass out there. But if you're doing, specialty items, or just things that are just super personal or took a lot of time and are handcrafted, I pay for premium items. So,
All right, so then let's leave you guys with this. This is the question. What's the favorite merch item that you purchased, whether it's recent or ever, right? And, whether it was in person at like a band performance or you got it online. They were like handwritten, autographed lyrics. Think through something that you took your time and you took your money to purchase, and what would that be? So I'll start with you, that Orko, because I already know what this is gonna be.
Actually, I don't know if you know what this is going to be. Oh, what is it? What would you think it was going to be?
I would think that you're gonna say a clothing item.
Well, yeah. So, well, a couple things. So, when I was, I went and saw Hole back in the day, and it was like one of the best shows nights of my life. I was like literally up against the barricade front for Hole, and I got this teddy bear that had a Hole shirt on it, and it was really really cool because
That's
there
cute.
wasn't very many of them. Um, but it got ruined one of the times that I moved, and it kind of like broke my heart a little bit. But I would say that, or I got an NERD hoodie that was like really cool that I still wear all the time. That's probably my favorite, is probably my NERD hoodie.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, look, just again, anything that I have purchased from a live show that I went to just had this extra feel about it. You know what I'm saying? Because there's like a memory that's associated with it. There was a
Mm.
show that you saw, so again, don't discount the power of something that someone can get physically from you and then trying to figure out how to do that. So when we're talking about how do we as independents build to six figures annually, you can now see how you really could do this, but it takes time to actually sit down, think through it, put
Yeah.
together a little business plan, and then execute.
And
All right.
you just really got to just be in tune with yourself, of what you're, you know what I mean? Like be in touch with yourself of what you're into. Because I always tell artists that it has to come from a real place of what you're into and what's going to come naturally. So it doesn't feel like a chore. So it doesn't feel like a job, just any kind of passion you could put into it.
All right. All right, guys. So, moving on. In our discussion and focus on getting independent artists to six figures annually and helping them to figure this all out. What's going on? We're gonna now move on, and we're gonna shift and focus now on marketing. So the question is, how can we get you from 0 to 500,000 followers? Now, this is something that Orko and I literally did when we first started working together. I did not have any steady fan following. Social media is not something that I knew anything about, that I took seriously. I think I posted on like Facebook sometimes. And so the way people knew me was just because I had networked really well in my home state. I did a lot of shows. And so I kind of, had my game on, that way. But then beyond that, nothing, because I wasn't on social media. When I decided to start taking social media seriously and we got into it and we're making content, everything changed. So what we're going to talk about are basically the 5 steps that we went through to get from 0 to 500,000 followers across all social media platforms. Are you ready?
Yeah, just first off, just know that you got to have patience. This is not I mean, I've heard people being able to do it overnight, but this was not a quick process.
Yeah. That's the pre-tip. But no, that's very true. And for some people, you might have immediate success, but even then, when you have something that goes viral, you got to follow it up, and that's where people will fail. So, and anyway, let's get into it. So, number 1, you have to get into the habit of producing and posting content first. It is the most difficult thing for a lot of people, myself included, because now you are having a complete shift of like your identity. You are now someone who makes content, and you have all kinds of feelings wrapped up in it, and you don't want to do it, and it's very unnatural. But that's why we say this, the first step is just creating the habit of actually doing it. Okay, so you're producing content, you're making it, and you gotta post it. You can't just take pictures and make videos and do all this stuff and then you never post it, right? That Orko?
No, it gets tough, man, because especially when you're first getting into it, you already feel like you have this identity, maybe, of how you look at yourself, and you feel like by playing the game, it kind of somewhat makes you lesser than. So you're worried about what your immediate friends or your family are going to think about your videos. And if nobody likes them, first of all, get that out of your head as well. Like, you got to have a thick skin at the top, and you just got to post like she says. You got to just have it and just go 1, 2, 3, put it out and put
Yep.
it out.
You are getting into the habit of doing this, and then that moves us on to step number 2, which is you're going to start analyzing what's actually working, right? So you do this for a few weeks, right? Don't post one time and they're like, oh my gosh, it failed and I'm a failure and I suck. Stop all that. You're actually going to just post no matter what it is, okay? Even if it's like literally the same thing. You're like, oh, I have 5 seconds to do this in my car every day, and you have car selfies or car selfie videos, then do that. That's okay, as long as you do it. And then once you've done it for a couple of weeks, actually look back and analyze and be like, did anything get picked up, right? Did any of the platforms start pushing out my stuff organically? How many, like comments did I get? We don't care about likes. And for me, once I figured that out, I was like, likes are they're the lowest rated thing that I look at. They don't matter. I'm looking at, did people actually watch it? That's interesting. Are people curious? Are they commenting? Are they engaged? So
I
analyze
hit
and actually
like
look at
very
it.
rarely on Instagram anyway. Like but that just might just be me. I rarely hit the like button. I rarely will hit a comment. I will comment on something, and I consume a lot of content on social media. I wouldn't say that I participate in actively in it, but so there might be millions of you might have a fan base that you don't even realize that you have, because I'm even my favorite artist, I'm not hitting the like button on anything.
That's a good point. And look, so Dina, I never have anything clever to post on Instagram. Okay, so let's talk about that for a sec. Says who? It sounds like you're talking yourself down, and before you've even posted something, you're telling me that there's nothing that you've ever thought that you wanted to share with a friend or a family member. You're like, you know what I think about that new vampire TV show? You have an opinion. Everyone has an opinion, and at a minimum, you could share that. Now, obviously, we want to try to do stuff that's on, brand if we're promoting our music careers or our businesses or whatever. But I'm
But
saying
it's
do
so
whatever.
easy. It's so easy. Like, again, the hardest thing, everybody just, I think at the end of the day, just making excuses, are they don't want to be judged by their peers. That's it. That's the biggest reason why nobody is taking that first step. Because to your point right there, so there's a vampire show that's on. All you like in social media, all the platforms make it so easy to make content and edit. You don't have to be a professional. You literally sit there with your phone that everybody has. You use that green screen background. You have a thumbnail of what the movie or TV show that you're watching. Even if it's on brand with you. So say like you're a dark pop artist and you want to talk about vampire show that you just watched. You pull up the thing, you have the picture behind you, and you do 10 seconds of your rant or your thought on the thing. Dunzo. You ask a question at the top of the thing, and at the end of the thing, you repeat the question because you want the engagement. But like, it's so easy. Like, people are literally just remixing other content, and they are just on the video watching it, and they're just going, and they're getting like 30,000 plays. They don't even have to see. You don't even have to say anything
Yeah,
to
no,
get
and
yourself
it's
started.
funny. I was talking to my students, and I was telling them, I was like, for example, some of my content that's performed the best is just of me walking. So that's something that I do every once in a while because I know it will do well. I just walk towards the camera. Now, obviously, if I have a little attitude and I'm kind of strutting, it makes it perform better. And then I put some sassy text on it, and then that's it. How much effort did that take me to walk to and fro the camera? So, in any case, number one, you got to get in the habit of actually just posting, okay? Number two, then you got to look at what you're doing and what's performing, okay? And then three, once you see, you're like, oh man, when I do those videos where I'm reacting to viral content and it's like metalhead reacts to, pop release, and some, guy sitting there and he's like, and that's all he does. And then those are the things that perform really well on the
Yeah.
page, which then promotes the guy in general and the fact that he does metal music. Do you see where I'm going with this? So you can kind of cross pollinate entertaining people with driving traffic to your platform. So anyway, you go and you're like, okay, I see this stuff's kind of working. So then three, you're actually going to improve the quality of what you're doing because maybe what you've
Yeah.
been doing, you have like no light. So now
Yeah.
you're going to go find a window and you're going to have a little sunlight while you do your metalhead reacts to the pop artist video. because you know
But
it
don't
does well,
be
but it could do better with a little more light and a little more text and a little more thought.
absolutely. That's something that you should always be thinking of. And it's something that we talk about a lot on the channel, which is investing in yourself and investing in those things to make your content, to make your music, to make your life, whether it be, getting a new sound pack that'll inspire you, or, taking a course on, learning about, how to, make a beat or something, just anything that you can do is always good as far as looking ahead to that. And don't feel like you're trapped. Like if you don't have that new camera, you can't get started. I see plenty of videos that are going viral with like horrible quality, but but the thing was good. The idea, the thought that they had was interesting. I mean, really, like look at the quality of the videos that come into your feed. Look at how many views they have and go, is like, aside from how great it like the content is the quality that good? I mean, most people just put a lot of filters on stuff anyway.
Well, and I'll even say this, what I've seen is that the more real you try to make your content, if you're talking to the camera, right, even if it is kind of low quality, even if it is bad lighting, people actually resonate with that. So don't be held back because again of the quality thing, because it actually might help you because people are
It
tired of
feels
seeing
real.
everything super airbrushed, right? All right, so once
Or
then you
one more, just last thing on that. Or you could just
but
put a picture, just a solid picture. I'm seeing it a lot too.
sure, sure.
Or just a landscape picture, and then you're talking over it and you're giving your thought, and then you do that because I mean it'll already transcribe your speech. So you'll
Yeah.
have your speech. How many videos have you seen like that?
Yeah. Yeah, so that's why we say just start because you'll figure out what you want to do once, but you got to do it. I think people are like thinking too much and then they just never
Mhm.
do anything, right? So then step number 4 is going to be once you kind of figure out what's working for you, that those first 3 steps could take you 2 years. That's okay. Okay. And I think for the average person, it really does, take that time. All right. And for me, even like being beyond 2 years, I'm still learning. And I'm on
Yeah.
stage 4, which is, well, then you have to adapt. Okay. So once you have some stuff that takes off and goes viral, that's amazing. But everyone's going to plateau. No
Right.
one's algorithm is ever going to hang on like that. So when you plateau, then you're going to figure out, well, that's okay. And you're going to maintain because you never want to discount the people who actually follow you,
Yeah.
right? So even if, it's still now 100 likes and it's less than it was and all that, that's still 100 people who have been following you and being dedicated fans. So put in the time for them, even if your stuff is kind of weak sauce. And even if that's the case now, put in the time for the people who actually care, even if that's like 2 people,
And
honestly.
if you're switching your branding, like let's say like the things that kind of maybe your old school fans, maybe you've drifted away a little bit from that. So that's why stories are perfect, because you could do the throwback stuff in the stories. It's temporary content. If you're trying to have a specific look to your feed, and how it looks is just a cohesive, project. So that's something else to consider too, just taking advantage of the stories for your posts.
Yeah. And then step 5, we made it, guys. At that point, it might make sense to hire someone. The reason I did not include hire someone earlier in this entire progression is because if you just hire someone, you're going to pay them
Right.
money. They might give you some ideas, they might post for you, that might help. But if you don't do the work, when that person leaves, you've paid them money and now you don't know what the hell you're doing. So you have to learn how to do it. You have to know what kind of works
For
for
sure.
you, and then you can have people help. It's amazing. You can definitely get some help with it. But I think that a lot of people are like, I just need to get a PR person, or I need to hire a marketing, person to do this for me. No.
It's
Have
terrible.
someone teach you. Watch some YouTube videos, okay? And then go back, rinse and repeat step 1 through 4.
Yeah, no, I mean, what are you going to do? Like, if your whole thing was, I don't want to deal with marketing, I don't want to learn how to do this stuff. I'm just going to rely on this, PR company or whatever that I hired for, 2 months because that's all I could afford. When that's done, what are you going to do?
Yeah, and
What do you
typically they're not going to be
learn?
able to do much for you, right? There's only so, and I even said this to one of my artists once, and she's asked me for recommendations. I'm like, I know people, I've hired companies, and I'm telling you from my loss of money because
Right.
I want you to not lose your money. But I'm like, I get it. So if you want to do that and you want to go through that, but understand that they can't go there and be in person with you and hold your phone. Like you can save yourself like $400 by going
Yeah.
like this and just saying something and being like, hey, my new song, or I wrote this song and it meant so much to me, and it's out now, just so you guys know, link in the bio. You know what I'm saying? So again,
And
it's
don't get
easier said than done.
discouraged.
Yeah, but you have to start. So this is me giving you a kick in the ass. Go ahead. What were you saying?
No, I'm just saying, just like don't get discouraged with it. Like too, like just because you posted something, maybe you posted your peak time would have been probably if you posted at 9 a.m. You still wanted to post something, you post something at 11, you notice that you got no love on it, you're kind of shocked by it. I don't know, man. Like try it again. Like it's don't be just so afraid of something that failed, or just because something didn't work once doesn't mean it's not going to catch, or it could still work. Don't discount the power or the oppression that the algorithm places on you.
No,
Like
and
it's a real thing.
some of the highest pay marketers, they'll share, their best tips and tricks and all that. And this one guy, he goes, I'll literally repost the same content, but I'll put different words on it, right? So different captions, and I'll do that literally one after another. I'm not spacing them out, I'm not whatever. And he goes, and I'll do this on TikTok only because I'm testing.
All
And
right.
he goes, whatever one performs the best is the one that I'll go post to all the other social media platforms. So no, there's plenty of room to play here. So I want to see you guys get from 0 to 500,000 and well beyond that, so that you can grow your music business, right? Drive traffic to your music, make money, and make this thing your full-time career.
Yeah.
All right, beautiful. So guys, let me know in the chat. I saw a couple of other questions we'll touch on, but let me know. We're trying something a little bit different this show, and kind of going in and talking about some of these things. It sounds like you guys are pretty engaged, so I appreciate that. So there was a question about age limit. I think that, being a woman or a man or anybody, I mean, the answer is no.
No.
And I mean, I'm going to be like 100 years old next year. And, I'm still going to be doing my thing. I'm going to put out music videos. That's just me. And I think that I had that thought when I was like 18, where I said, I'm too old, because I
Right.
already knew that I had to be super young to be successful, to be a pop artist and all this stuff. And I felt like it was over for me. That was a very defeating belief that I had. And I wish I didn't feel like that for many years that I did. And then I was like, that's stupid. I can do what I want to do because I can be in control. I can work with the producers that I want. I can start my own record label. I was like, oh, okay, it really doesn't matter. So no,
It
don't.
totally doesn't. It totally
Yeah.
doesn't matter, and it doesn't matter what field for the most part that you want to get into. If you want to get into acting, if you want to there's no age limit of when you can start acting. If you want to be a comedian, look at Rodney Dangerfield. Like that guy didn't even get started, I don't think, till his 50s. Yeah, don't be afraid. A music producer, I mean, you're behind the scenes. It doesn't really matter, and just because it just doesn't matter anymore. The world is a way more inclusive place, and if your product is on hit, it's on hit. I don't know what to tell you.
I think that people also discount the positives of what they can bring. They're thinking, oh, I don't have something that I think the world or society requires of me. And they don't think, how much better is the world going to be because I decided to put my art out there and I connected with those people who connected with me. Like, it's a really powerful thing. And you guys all know what I'm talking about. You all listen to music. You are all obsessed with your one playlist that you've had since you were 14 and you listen to it over and over and over. I'm just saying. All right. And then there was a question about dark pop beats. Let me go back. Any tips for making dark pop beats? Well, I don't know, Mr. Producer. What do you think?
I don't know. It's very. I don't know what kind of.
Yeah,
kind
that's
of
just a more like
it's
production question, right? So as far as there's obviously a wide array of what dark pop is. We're getting a little bit more into cinematic dark pop, and that's just kind of our little branding that we're doing. But I think just decide number one: are you trying to be more mainstream dark pop like a Halsey, because she'll sometimes do kind of grungy stuff, or are you trying to be super offbeat and they're super alternative dark pop? So I would say just kind of number one, pick what you want to do. Number two, then go and listen to some of the playlists
listen to some of the
on
stuff that
Spotify.
kind of maybe gets inspired, but at the same time it's tough because I actually don't listen to a whole lot of dark pop ever, and I usually don't like to be inspired by outside artists and the things that I'm working in. But I think when you pick a vibe that you're trying to get into, I think the hardest thing is, if it's especially if it's something new for you, is finding a way to still kind of stay in that and not take a right or left turn somewhere. And like, so just a lot of practice in it, in the vibe, and just staying moody. I like to have like TV shows and vibes on that make me kind of feel that. Sometimes that help me. So if like you just have it in your studio or just a vibe,
Yeah.
but listening, just listening.
Yeah. Nice. Okay, so let's move on now. We have some newsy stories. So let me
Oh
pull
yeah.
those up. We are all out of order today.
I'm so confused. I was
All
like, the
right,
show's almost
so
over.
I know, right? Let me see where to start with this. All right. Taylor Swift is having a city named after her. Why are any of us surprised? So, the big kickoff of Taylor Swift's Eras Tour is starting. And so, Glendale, Arizona, where we are based, sort of. We're in Phoenix, Arizona, but Arizona nonetheless. Glendale is temporarily changing its name. And what's it changing it to?
It's going to be known for the next few days as Swift City, which is pretty cool. It's pretty fun, I guess. The other names that were in running were Swiftdale, Taylordale, the city of Taylor Swift, Taylor Nation, and Taylortown. Like, I guess Swift City sounds cool. It almost sounds like a Deftone song.
Now, we also had another big announcement from Taylor. She's like, in honor of the big kickoff, she decided just to casually drop 4 new songs.
Yep, tonight.
Pretty cool. And so 3 of them are re-recordings, right? So Taylor's versions, and then one I believe is from the Lover kind of era.
Yeah.
And that's just an unreleased song. So pretty cool. And I know I'm gonna definitely be checking those out.
No, it's pretty crazy, like what Glendale is going through, and going for Taylor Swift. Like, I heard they're gonna do like billboards, like all like lining up the whole Westgate area, and it's
So
just gonna be like
cool.
welcoming Taylor Swift. Now it's just like, listen, I like Taylor Swift, but I mean, what's going on here? But I mean, she's bringing a lot of business. I mean, the city's
Hmm.
even selling Swift City T-shirts. I saw, and and I guess like the hotels around the stadium are charging up to like $1,000 a night, which is pretty high for that area. But everyone's got the Swift fever. But I
Well,
mean,
I
it's a
mean, even
huge
well, and
tour, no doubt about it.
I was gonna compare it to Super Bowl. So I did some work, with my law firm. I did some work for the Super Bowl, and around there we were looking at obviously profits and the infusion of business and the economy and all that. I mean, it's insane what the Super Bowl does for the city and state that it's in. But I am not surprised at all that obviously a city would bend over backwards with this kind of honor, but not to say that she's undeserving of it in any kind of way. I think it's so cool, and just
I think it's super
congratulations to
cool.
her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I think it's super cool. I just was just kind of like shocked when I heard it, as I think a lot of people might have been. Like, I've never really heard that done before, but it's pretty cool. And yeah, good for Taylor. I don't know.
All right, let's take a sec. Let's reset here. All right, you
This would
ready?
be a perfect time for everybody to hit the like button on whatever platform that you are watching from. If you haven't already, we appreciate that very much. So,
Yeah, like our stuff.
like it.
We spend a lot of time talking about AI advancements because, we have AI basically rewriting lyrics for popular artists, being able to imitate
Yeah.
artists and their faces. I mean, it's pretty crazy. But we have an update now because Sound Exchange is joining the Human Artistry Campaign as a founding member. And its objective is to protect payments to creators. And it kind of sounds like they're trying to come up against the AI revolution. And they're basically saying, look, we see the exploitative nature and
Mm.
potential here, and creators are going to suffer. So they're trying to do something about it.
Yeah, I mean, you know how I feel about this whole AI stuff, as far as um, just everyone trying to bring about the end of the world with all this stuff, and pretty soon we're gonna have Skynet, realizing itself and coming online. But yeah, no, I mean, I think that these creators need to be protected. We were talking about that Lensa app, which was creating all those portraits based on other artists' artwork. You're seeing all kinds of videos of just where they're taking like Snoop Dogg's voice and like he translates the Bible. I mean, I think he might have had a partnership with it, but I'm just saying like they used the AI technology. I can't imagine he actually sat there, but just people's and voice
And who did we
actors and
just cover?
images.
Steve Aoki. He had created the drop, and who was it? Was it Kanye?
No, it was what did we no Eminem. It was like
That's right.
Eminem,
Hmm.
yeah, AI Eminem. I don't think it was Aoki. I think it was like it doesn't matter. It was another DJ, but yes.
No, but in any case, so what he did is he went to one AI, information curator,
Mhm.
and he goes, "I want some lyrics in the style of Eminem," and it popped out
Right.
some lyrics.
Lyrics.
And then he went to a different platform. He goes, "All right, so now I want you to take
David
these
Guetta.
lyrics." We'll find it. I want you to take these lyrics and now come up with a song in the style of Eminem and in the voice of Eminem. And then he went and like did some things and he performed it live. Now he's like, this is a parody. And so we talked about obviously the legal implications of that. So, even in that, did Eminem get paid? No. So
No.
is Sound Exchange now and the Human Artistry Campaign coming for David Guetta?
Well, I don't know, but I think that it's good that I'm glad that there are, organizations being started up to start to at least take a look at this, because it's going to be hard for anything to even catch up to technology as far as what they end up doing legally with everything. I mean, there's still copyright laws are always changing. With AI technology, it's like, yeah, we got to produce the artists that are based on, and then you're going to we need to protect the AI, because AIs have rights too, because they're actually the ones that are creating it. I don't know. Be careful what y'all wish for. Like, it's coming though. It's an inevitable thing. Like, it's a handy technology. Obviously, like it's really cool, but like, it's here. Like, it's not gonna go away. It's not gonna ever go like, oh, we need to stop AI. It's like it's never gonna happen. It's just gonna keep getting better and learn more and more and more and more and more, and then till it's self aware. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah.
I'm not necessarily on with you on all that, but I think as far as what we're talking about, they are trying to protect creators' interests and to basically represent them in policy making. Because that was my question. I'm like, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna like
Mhm.
go on the internet and try to block? I mean, what are you doing? And it sounds like that's basically they're gonna just try to have a seat at the table to try to protect artists because obviously artists are gonna be the ones. They're always at the
Yeah.
bottom of the barrel in everything, music
Always.
business, entertainment business, always going to be at the bottom of the barrel. So I'm glad to see that obviously, someone's trying to take up the proverbial pitchfork and do something about it.
Yeah, let's get it.
All right. So now that you're on this with me, where you're going to end the show. So guys, we're at the end of this. We did something real different today. I kind of had fun. What'd you think?
It's fun. I like talking with you guys. I like hearing what you guys have to say in the chat, and I love just
Yeah, I
give
feel I
blessing
feel
y'all
like
with
we
these
got
gems.
I feel like we got a little more participation from everyone during the different artist segments, which I really liked, and that's the goal. That's what we want when we're doing these shows. So I'm excited about that.
Very good, very good.
That is very good. Okay, so let's do all the plugs and then we're gonna watch the video one more time because we can and we want to. So make sure to follow on all the places. Top Music Attorney is on every single social media platform.
Yep.
And as we're talking about how to grow and how to do all the things, you're welcome to follow, me and just to kind of see what I'm doing because I have two different brands, right? I have
Right.
Top Music Attorney, but I also have what I do as a musician on Miss Krystle. And so, it's interesting maybe even to compare that and just look at the type of content that we're doing, stuff that does well, stuff that doesn't do well, and maybe think through why we're doing what we're doing. But in any case, I appreciate you all being here. What do you say that, Orko? Should we get out of here?
We should, but I want to remind everybody to go check us out on, the music on Spotify or any other streaming platform that you have. Your artist page, like she mentioned before, there's that. And of course, the show is on all you can listen to it on all streaming platforms as well, the actual podcast. So make sure that you follow, like in all those places, and stay in tune.
Hey, all right. So this is Something in the Way music video, original song, produced by that Orko, written by that Orko, me, and our good friend Gabe.
Yes, sir.
So let's hit it. We'll see you in the chat. Bye, guys.